My son was sent home for plagiarizing his essay, but the words the teacher flagged were the ones about his dad's deployment. When I got the call from Tommy's school, I thought it was another lunch money thing. Instead, Mrs. Jackson told me my 12-year-old had been caught plagiarizing his Memorial Day essay and needed to be picked up immediately. I drove over confused because Tommy never cheated on anything. The kid would rather fail than copy someone else's work. Mrs. Jackson handed me a printed essay with red marks all over it. These sections, she pointed to 3 highlighted paragraphs, match content found online almost word for word. The flagged parts were about military deployment procedures, combat zone rotations, and what soldiers eat for breakfast overseas. Specific stuff that seemed way too detailed for a 6th grader. I looked at the essay title, My Dad, My Hero, and felt my stomach drop. Tommy had written about his father, Mark, who died in Afghanistan when Tommy was 7. The highlighted sections described Mark's daily routine during his 2nd deployment, how he'd video call us every Tuesday at 6 p.m. our time, how he'd complain about the weird protein bars they got in his MRE packets. Mrs. Jackson, I said, trying to stay calm. Where exactly did you find this content online? She pulled up some military blog on her computer. Right here, these exact details about deployment schedules and meal descriptions. I scanned the blog post. It was written by someone named M. Rodriguez, posted 3 years ago. The details matched Tommy's essay perfectly because they were the exact stories Mark used to tell us during those Tuesday calls. This is my late husband's blog, I said quietly. Mark Rodriguez. He wrote this while he was deployed. Mrs. Jackson's face went pale. Tommy's been reading his dad's old posts since he learned how to use my laptop. The essay wasn't plagiarized. It was Tommy remembering his father through Mark's own words. The protein bar complaints, the Tuesday call schedule, the way Mark described missing home-cooked meals. These were real memories Tommy was sharing, using his dad's exact phrases because they were burned into his mind from years of reading that blog. Mrs. Jackson apologized profusely, but Tommy was already in the hallway, backpack in hand, looking humiliated. Everyone thinks I'm a cheater now, he said in the car. Word had spread fast. Kids were already texting about how Tommy Rodriguez got busted for copying his essay. That night, I helped Tommy write a new version, this time including a note about his sources. But the damage was done. For weeks, kids at school called him Copycat Tommy. Teachers gave him suspicious looks during tests. The plagiarism accusation went on his permanent record. Tommy stopped talking about his dad after that, stopped reading Mark's blog. When I asked why, he said, "What's the point? No one believes dad's stories anyway. They think I just make stuff up." 2 months later, our school held a Veterans Day assembly. They asked families to share stories about military relatives. Tommy refused to participate. "They'll just think I copied it from somewhere," he said. I watched other kids get up and tell generic, surface-level stories about their veteran relatives, while my son, who had the most authentic military family experience of any kid there, stayed silent in his seat. That night, I sent Mrs. Jackson every screenshot of Mark's blog, his deployment dates, and photos of him writing on his laptop in his tent. I wanted her to understand that my son hadn't plagiarized anything. He'd simply inherited his father's voice, his father's memories, his father's way of describing the hardest parts of military life. She never responded to my email. The plagiarism mark stayed on Tommy's record,